The cameras flashed, the crowd froze, and just like that, the internet had its new obsession.
Armed with TikTok comparisons, an army of online critics decided that one of the biggest stars in the world sounded, well, wobbly and robotic.
And the headline story we're diving into is they hated Selena's voice. Until now, W. We are going deep, way past the gossip to reveal the real medical reasons for the shocking acoustic shift in Selena Gomez's voice.
Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
The initial criticism was pretty harsh. Accusations of everything from a weird affectation to cosmetic surgery gone wrong.
But the truth is so much more complicated, and it's rooted in her lifelong battle with systemic lupus erythematosus.
But first, we really have to unpack the savage public scrutiny and the high-profile celebrities who actually rushed to her defense.
If you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead. Okay, let's just jump right in. The TikTok theory. Why the internet called her voice nasal and wobbly.
Well, you have to think about it. For a star like Selena, her entire life is an archive.
Right.
The public has access to everything, from her early Disney days all the way up to only murders in the building.
So they can do this like minute-by-minute comparisons of her voice over 20 years?
Exactly. These comparative acoustic examinations, as one source put it. And every new video is immediately benchmarked against her past self.
And that led directly to this this decline theory.
Yeah, the consensus online was that her voice peaked somewhere around 2014 to 2017, and then there was this, major decline.
They were right about the timing of the change, but they were just completely wrong about the cause.
Oh, completely. They were observing symptoms and then inventing causes based on, typical celebrity drama instead of medical reality.
And some of the descriptions were surprisingly specific. People were saying her voice was slower, flatter, and more monotone.
And the big one you saw everywhere was nasality.
Yes. We found one comment that just said, "It's so nasally, I don't remember it being this nasally."
And then there was the other side of it, the instability. People describing her voice as wavy, or that really unsettling phrase, wobbly and robotic.
When you hear those words, what does that signal to you medically?
It points directly to a lack of control, instability in pitch, inconsistent airflow, the kind of thing that happens when the physical mechanism for speech isn't working smoothly.
And that's the engine behind the misattribution bias, right?
100%. The public sees a change, and their minds immediately go to external causes.
Cosmetic causes.
Exactly. They assumed it had to be a nose job or some kind of cosmetic surgery on her face. That'd be aesthetic, not physiological.
But those symptoms, they just don't line up with aesthetic surgery, do they?
Rarely, if ever. I mean, clinically speaking, nasality plus that kind of vocal wobble, that points towards something like neuromuscular impairment.
So not a scalpel?
No, something systemic. It's often a consequence of a major illness, which was the huge clue everyone was missing.
And that missing clue led to some really brutal reactions. I mean, after the In the Dark music video dropped, some people were calling her face a monster.
It got so bad that other A-listers had to step in. The singer Grimes called the whole thing unhealthy and dehumanizing.
She even suggested that accounts engaging in that kind of body shaming en masse should be suspended.
Which just shows you how intense the pressure had become.
Those critics pushing the cosmetic theories couldn't have been more wrong. Next, the Instagram Live, where Selena finally shut down the speculation and detailed the painful hidden truth. Okay, so let's get into the moment she finally set the record straight. The internal swelling. Selena reveals the cause of her voice change.
This was just so necessary. The speculation had spiraled out of control.
So she went on Instagram Live, which is kind of her signature move. She's always been incredibly transparent about her health.
Radically transparent.
Yeah.
And she just addressed the comments head on. Acknowledged that, yes, her voice had changed.
And her explanation was so simple, but it explained everything. She just said, "Sometimes things happen and my throat kind of swells on the inside. That's all."
That's all. That one sentence is a perfect description of what happens. When she talks about having a weaker or breathier voice, or difficulty projecting.
She's clinically describing dysphonia.
Exactly. An impaired voice. And it's a classic symptom for someone with a systemic autoimmune disease like lupus.
And this isn't new for her. We know she was diagnosed with lupus in her early 20s, had the kidney transplant in 2017, diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2020. Her body is just in a constant state of inflammation.
And the larynx, your voice box, is not immune to that. With lupus, the body's immune system basically goes rogue and starts attacking healthy tissue. And the larynx is a prime target.
So how did that inflammation actually create that wobbly sound everyone was talking about?
Well, there are a couple of things. The inflammation can thicken the vocal cords themselves, but more critically, it attacks these tiny little joints called the cricoarytenoid joints.
Okay, what do they do?
Think of them as the hinges of your voice. They control how the vocal cords open and close thousands of times a minute. If those hinges get swollen and stiff from inflammation,
The cords can't close
precisely, you get a gap, and that can even lead to a risk of vocal cord paralysis or palsy. If the nerve that controls the vocal cord gets damaged by the inflammation, the cord just doesn't move right.
So air leaks out when she tries to speak or sing.
And that's your breathy, weaker voice right there. That's the difficulty projecting. It's not a choice. It's a physical limitation caused by the disease.
And on top of all that, we have to remember her kidney history.
Yes, absolutely. The 2017 transplant was necessary because of the damage from lupus. And end-stage kidney disease, or ESKD, is linked to really profound muscle weakness and fatigue.
All over the body.
All over, including the respiratory muscles, your diaphragm, the muscles you need for breath support.
So if that foundation is weak,
The whole structure is compromised.
Yeah.
You can't get that steady, controlled airflow you need for a strong voice that directly causes that wobbly, inconsistent quality people were noticing.
her illness isn't just attacking her body, it's literally attacking her instrument.
It is.
But the real twist in this story is that the life-saving medicine she takes every day is creating a war zone in her throat. That's next. So we're calling this final segment the pharmacological paradox, how life-saving drugs worsen vocal quality.
And this is maybe the cruelest part of the whole story. We're talking about iatrogenic harm, basically. Problems caused by the medical treatment itself.
When you're managing lupus, a kidney transplant, and bipolar disorder all at once, that's a lot of medication.
It's an aggressive polypharmacy, a whole cocktail of drugs. And that cocktail creates this constant physiological tug-of-war right in her larynx.
A tug of war? What do you mean?
I mean, it's a pharmacological collision. You have different drugs with completely opposite side effects hitting the same system.
Okay, break that down for us.
So let's start with the drying agents. The psychotropic medications she'd likely be taking for bipolar disorder often cause something called xerostomia.
Which is extreme dry mouth.
Extreme dry mouth. And for a singer, that is debilitating. Vocal cords need to be lubricated to vibrate smoothly. If they're dry, they get stiff.
It takes more effort to make a sound.
Way more effort. It leads directly to vocal strain, that throaty sound people were pointing out.
Okay, so one set of drugs is drying her out, making her vocal cords stiff.
Right. Now enter the swelling agents. To manage lupus and prevent organ rejection, she needs corticosteroids.
Which are anti-inflammatory.
Powerful ones. But a major side effect is fluid retention. And that includes edema swelling in the vocal cords.
Wait a minute. So one drug is making her cords dry and stiff.
And another is making them swell up with fluid.
How does that even work? That sounds impossible to manage.
That's the paradox. You have stiffness from dryness clashing with increased mass from swelling. It means the physical properties of her instrument are changing, day to day, even hour to hour.
So consistency is just off the table.
It's impossible without constant, conscious adaptation.
Which brings us to her professional adaptation. Vocal analysts have noticed this, right?
Oh, absolutely. They've pointed out that in recent performances, she's often dodging the high note. She's choosing to sing a completely different melody that's safer for her.
So what the internet called a decline was actually a survival strategy.
That is the single most important takeaway. It's not a failure of talent. It is a smart, medically informed choice to protect her long-term vocal health. It's an act of profound resilience.
And her being so open about all this has had this huge positive impact. It's what they call the Angelina effect.
Yeah, that's when a celebrity disclosure raises public awareness about a disease.
Yeah.
And the data backs it up.
Right. After her big announcements about lupus, Google searches for "what is lupus" just skyrocketed.
She took all that awful scrutiny and turned it into a public health lesson. By talking about everything from the melasma on her face to the swelling in her throat, she forces people to look past the surface.
It really deconstructs the stigma around these invisible illnesses.
It does. It forces you to confront the reality of being a human being fighting these battles.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next.
When you really look at it, her voice change is just a scientifically predictable outcome of all these interlocking medical issues. So the fact that she can still perform at all, I mean, it reflects this remarkable resilience.
It's not about achieving perfection anymore.
Not at all. The goal is shifted. It's about vocal endurance. It's about longevity.
And that really raises a huge question for the entertainment industry as a whole.
It does. Given what we now understand about chronic illness in performers, should specialized arts medicine with laryngologists, pharmacologists, voice therapists, should that become standard practice for every high-level artist?
It moves the conversation away from just critiquing someone's voice.
And toward protecting a human instrument. And that, I think, is a critical new frontier for both pop culture and for healthcare.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.